Hey guys, what's up? So, 2:19, I woke up, 2 in the morning, 2:19. Um, I realized some stuff, and I hope this can help people. Um, if you're not on a twin flame journey, it can still work in certain ways. The reason why it's dark is because I'm really sensitive to light lately, and it makes me feel like I'm gonna throw up. I don't know why. I feel like it has like a metaphor to like shining my light to oh man. Shining my light to something that I know that I'm not letting myself manifest within my stomach. So it's a purging of outdated beliefs as well, which is what I want to kind of like talk about. So, in a twin flame journey, okay, the feminine, a lot of the time, can forget that it's not about the 3D, it's about the 5D, it's about the feelings, because a twin flame journey is, or a twin flame relationship is the balancing between both souls of one of the divine and feminine energies. So if somebody has more of the masculine, did I say divine and the divine and masculine energies, okay? So if you have whatever, I'll just let it go. So if you have more masculine in you than feminine, you're kind of taking the masculine energy away from the other person, and they have more feminine in a way. Is that how I want to say it? So, okay, so the feminine, and you can be a man and have more feminine in you. It doesn't matter. These go by energies, not people, not genders, not sex, nothing like that. So, pretty much when you're feminine, you have the feminine energy, right? Especially balanced and healed and all that within yourself. You're in a receiving mode, okay? Whoever has the masculine energy is the provider, right? They're the ones that give more, like, because also like the feminine is the one that awakens first to the journey or just within themselves, which is also the journey, because you and your twin are one. Like, you are yourself. Like, you mirror each other. So like if you trigger each other, it's a trigger between both of you, that you trigger each other, that you have to heal. But obviously it's like different, but we're all the same, like collectively, not just twin flames, like collectively we're all the same. There's no separation of judgment, fear, pain, suffering, jealousy, whatever, all those fun stuff that's not really fun. So the feminine is supposed to have the energy of receiving. They receive the intuition more. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. They receive the intuition more. Like, they're receiving the downloads, you know what I mean? And it could be even of the connection, which I heard this on something else, and for me, it makes so much sense. So I wanted to explain it in certain ways, in different ways, where it could help the same way, but in different ways. So if you are a feminine, divine feminine, and you're imbalanced, and you have more, masculine in you, masculine energy, you're going to be more action oriented, right? And that's where the imbalance is, because it's like the divine feminine, again, is the one that's supposed to receive. So if you're imbalanced with more of the masculine, you're going to be trying to like not nitpick the other one, but you're kind of like not even pushy. It's just like, how do I explain it? Like, that could be the energy that it feels like, but you're not purposely doing it. It's kind of like you're taking on both counterparts. Wow, Bethany. Okay, I don't even really remember what I said in the other one, but I know it was good. Anyways, so yeah, so the masculine energy is more of the action oriented, and the feminine is more receiving. So if you have too much masculine energy in you and you're the feminine, you're taking on the masculine's job, kind of. Even though you guys are balanced with each energy within just yourself, which is like the only way you guys can even come together in a healthy form. Because if you guys are on the same page in a different energy that's not healthy, shit could go down. Anyways, so if you're unbalanced, the thing is that you're imbalanced and the other one is taking from the other one. Okay, if you feel like you've been bound to your twin flame, like you can't get out, can't be free, you can't get out of your mindset about the other one, and like you're going crazy, and like you want to like separate, and you can't, and you're trying really hard, it's because the other one is closed off to the feelings of the divine masculine or divine feminine. So if you're the divine feminine, and you feel bound and caged up, it's because the divine masculine is guarded and closed off, and his heart is caged from his emotions of the feminine energy. So he's pretty much taking away, not purposely, taking away the feminine's freedom of emotions to be able to free herself of the mind, of, thinking she needs to stay with the masculine, thinking this and that, because her feelings are bound in a cage where she can't get it out. The same with the masculine. If the feminine has more of the masculine energy and is action oriented, it's gonna affect the masculine on not being able to take action. Then the feminine gets pissed off and it makes it worse, but she doesn't understand what she's doing. So it's like, if you guys are I was like this. I was like, if you feel like your divine counterpart is like your enemy, it's because you're your own worst enemy within yourself. So the twin flame journey, the whole entire journey of life is emotions. Finding yourself way back to love. So when you're trying to balance yourself, you're finding a way of emotions of loving yourself. And that would be the balance, right? You're reflecting and feeling your counterpart. But if they're taking your energy, again, they're not meaning to. If the masculine needs feminine energy, the feminine can get drained of her feminine energy because he needs some. He needs that energy. And you need to do a lot of clearing. But he needs it. And in my situation, you can get codependent on each other's energies in order to have them. So if you're presently connected, like you like are near each other or like come together sometimes and hang out or whatever, in a way, my situation, it was a codependency cycle that needed to break. So the universe is pretty much like, yeah, no, you guys are separating and doing your own fucking thing, and you can come back together when you figure it out. You know, once the feminine frees herself with her emotions without the masculine could actually be helping her with his action oriented, taking his masculine energy back and trying to balance it. He is opening his emotions. So what the feminine does is she starts taking action to freedom of her own emotions. So in your higher self of the masculine wants you to do that. He wants you, because you've sacrificed so much by trying to be the one to make the relationship come together. Oh, I remember what I messed up. So again, the divine feminine can lose focus on the fact that twin flame journey, spiritual journey, is in 5D. It's not in 3D. So if she's looking at it as separation from not being together or in a commitment or whatever, it's not what it's about. It's about the 5D. Your twin flame is always with you because it's you. They're within you because they're you. When you feel like you're not at home, it's because the only person or only thing that makes you feel like home is your twin flame. And you might not understand it, but it's because you're at home with yourself, like you're full. And I don't mean you need to depend on a person to fulfill yourself, because the whole point is to fulfill yourself in order to come together with the other self. So the higher self of the masculine wants you to go off because you've sacrificed so much, and it's like, he's like, okay, go. Like, go do your thing, go find out, like, experience whatever you have to experience, and leave me behind. Let me do my thing, because once you let go of that energy of trying to make the relationship work and taking too much masculine energy or taking too much feminine energy or whatever, your masculine can't open up. So he's caged up to his feelings. So that's why he can't come together with his divine and feminine energies within himself. Because you are that energy for him. And that's why you sometimes have to disconnect. Because you're feeding off each other's divine and feminine energies. And that's imbalanced. So divine feminine, again, tries to take on the whole entire relationship, kind of lets the divine masculine just sit back and not have any responsibility in any of it. And that doesn't mean he's not doing his own thing internally with his emotions, but it's kind of like when you're trying to do everything on your own, like it's like a project in school. Like, if you're doing it and nobody else is helping and you're not saying anything, just letting it happen, you're just letting the enabling of the behavior keep going because you're not doing anything about it. So once the feminine is able to open her own heart, it's easier when the masculine's not around. But it still isn't, because you want the 3D connection, so you get pissed off at them pretty much. And then that takes away from opening up your heart to love. So once the feminine can break free on her own and feel her own feelings, that's when her masculine can. Because she's getting out of the cage to feel emotion, to feel love. And you can be the same as the masculine as a feminine and have the fact that you grew up not having emotions, or you'd be in a relationship and the feminine would take on the responsibilities of her, karmic relationship or whatever. And that's how she learned how commitment was, like, and that's how she can be in her reality, which isn't fair to her. Like in my situation, like I took on the responsibility of my son and his father having a relationship. You know what I mean? So you take on what is not yours. Oh, okay. What is not your responsibility. And because you do that, the other one can't do it. So once you're able to open your heart, the masculine is able to open their heart, because the reason why they run and you become the chaser is because of their ego, like, is trying to keep them safe of their emotions that they felt in the beginning when they fell in love with you instantly. And because as a feminine, you don't know what love feels like and you have abandonment issues, it's like you numb to not even knowing what love is or what it looks like because you've never had it, but also because you're scared if subconsciously it ever did happen, you would lose it because everybody leaves you and you have the energy of loss. So that's why you do lose a lot of people. That's why you do lose a lot of relationships. It's why you do lose, whatever, because you have the energy of lost. So the masculine will run because you abandon him pretty much out of self-sabotaging, or, once you realize, I mean, in my situation, like, not right away, but there was a legit moment where I was like, oh, fuck, I am not facing myself, and you self-sabotage it. If you see it that way, you can self-sabotage it in all different ways. But again, the feminine can walk away and hurt masculine, obviously, because he's never felt those feelings before for anybody, ever. So you're pretty much just like, you know what I mean? So they close up. They don't have those feelings anymore. They don't understand them. They don't understand why they can't get over you. They don't understand why, whatever. So they run from their feelings. They run from you because you pretty much abandon them. You abandon their feelings, like the strong ones that they've never felt before. And it's like, you were their home. Like, you completed them. Like, you were something that they never experienced before. And if you're gonna walk away from that, they're like, well, I'm not gonna do that again. You know what I mean? And it's hard for a masculine to open up that way, or even know that they are, because it feels natural with their feminine. So in other relationships, they didn't have to close up because they weren't you. They weren't the feminine. They were karmic relationships or whatever. And the karmics didn't care if they opened up or not. Like, so when they meet you, you open them up. And that's what starts the activation of the whole entire thing when you meet them, not like when you never met them before. But that does work too. Like, if you've never met before, you have no idea. Like, if you still are healing your energies, it will come together. You're at the same vibration always. They're always with you. Like, whenever I forget that and I disconnect and I look at the 3D and not the 5D and the telepathy and let him in and, whatever, like I block him. And that's another thing. If you're blocking him in the 5D, you're blocking him in the 3D from even being able to come forward. So, I'll picture him and I'll put him in my heart. And then he's with me for the day until I'm like, forget again. Because you want them in the 3D. Remember that you're already with them because they're you. They're you. They have that other half of you. And the way I look at it is they have, because they're the ones that trigger you the most. They take out your triggers so you heal them. And that's how you guys can come together, because you both heal. Because you're on the same frequency. So you both heal. If one of them starts to heal, the other one will start to heal from those triggers. So it's kind of like you're looking at it's like you're looking at yourself and you're facing your fears within yourself. Like they are your fears. They show you all your deepest, darkest fears that you don't want to see. So with a masculine, it's more about opening their heart and not being scared of it and running from it. And for the feminine, it's not being so codependent on the masculine's love, because she never felt what he gave her before, and she needs to clear and heal her abandonment issues, because she can't depend on him, so she doesn't feel abandoned. But because of how strong her feelings were for him, especially when he left, that's when she kind of figures it out. She's like, oh, fuck. She runs after him so he doesn't leave her, because she's been abandoned her whole life, And he can be too. I mean, she has the insecurities, but it's more he runs from his feelings and she runs after him so she doesn't feel abandoned by the feelings and love that he gave her that she's never had before. And it's a very strong, when you guys meet, it's very, 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 very different than anything else. And it's kind of like, what? So, especially if they're masculine. And then the feminine's like, no, don't leave me. Like, you're the only person that's ever loved me. But it's like, at a point when you guys meet each other, it's like you're already at a point where you're already balanced within yourself. And you already love yourself to a certain point of where you are in it. And then they show up at the same frequency. And then shit, hits the fan. But, like, the feminine already feels like subconsciously that he's going to leave. So he does. I mean, it's part of the thing anyways. And he just assumes that she's going to have the same fell in love at first sight feelings for him. Where was I going with this? I mean, I know it's part of what should be said, but, so she frees herself. She goes out into the world. She gained the fuck you to the masculine for whatever reason. Goes off on her own, and she starts to open her heart, because now she's not caged up by his energy. She disconnects in a way, but you can't ever disconnect. But she's able to open up to her feelings because she doesn't have that energy of him not allowing himself to open up his feminine energies and the energy of love and shining his light. And again, he didn't have to. He didn't have to, and he never felt it with anybody else, so he didn't have to feel that feeling. He was always closed off to it. So my thing's going to turn off in like 20 minutes, and I don't understand why, but yeah, I don't know if I even have to say anything else. But that's like, what was it that I realized? I already said some of it, but there's something I feel like I realized. Maybe it's the worst enemy thing.